Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It is Chattin with CHAP, and look, we're back with a different pose on our panel. Isn't it nice? And as you can tell by my lovely outfit, we are still in Texas.
Yeah.
But we're all together. I'm your host, Ginger Wade, and Sara is still with me, and Ro is still with me, and Alicia's still with me. And we have our lovely camera woman, Allie, behind the camera, which you can't see, but she's pushing buttons for us, which is wonderful. So we are here, and we're going to talk about homeschooling cheaply. So when I started, I never met anybody with a lot of money who was homeschooling, and especially when I got connected with people in other states. I mean, we were all in the same boat. We were all like scrimping the pennies and one salary families and stuff like that, and making choices so we could homeschool. It really floored me when I heard, oh, only rich people homeschool. I'm like, who are you to? Who do you know? Like the people that I know. So I know a lot of you think it's really hard to homeschool cheaply, but it's not. You do need to be resourceful and look around for opportunities that are free or cheap. So today we're going to talk about that. I specifically am not particularly the awesomest at doing this and finding resources, but my three friends here are. So they're going to share a lot, and I might have something to say at some point in time, but here we go. What are some ways that we can homeschool cheaply, ladies? What do you know? Share with the world.
All right, so I'll pick this up. So before we jump in, I wanted to say that make sure you're doing what works best for you. So say, for example, you buy a book and you have a child who's like in around the same age so they can share a book, and then you say, okay, I'm going to start with photocopies because photocopies at the library are cheap. That may be a good idea, but if you're going to be losing the papers and the kids are going to crumple the paper and then you can't find it, maybe invest in another book, maybe even go into like eBay or a used website. Maybe that's a better option. So you want to make sure that you're doing something because it works with your style and your brain and your personality, not just because it's low cost. So my big tip is the library. I have gotten so many resources for my boys. So for context, I have an 11-year-old, an 8-year-old, and my baby is 2.5. We do read-alouds at the library. My older boys have done guitar for free. Like they have 6 to 12 week sessions, beginners, intermediate. We have done coding and robotics for free, not free to the library, but free for us. Right? We have done handwriting classes at the library, language classes. So there's so many events and classes that you can get, but the library is for books. You can go, and even curriculum. I've seen a lot of curriculum that some of them you can check out, some of them are just references that you can look at. But my point is, instead of trying to buy like a curriculum where it's all this literature that's probably from the library, go ahead and have your kids either think through their interests, or if it's like history, have them go read a biography. But I definitely think the library is an amazing resource for free and low cost options. And then the cool things too, like STEM. My current library has a 3D printer, so the kids can, start to learn about things like that. So definitely a good resource. Place to research. A great resource.
Yeah, I like that. So another obvious option is the internet. There's so much, and it takes some digging through and some work on your part, which all of us know who are living on budgets and trying to be careful with our money. It's not the easiest path, but it can be done. And there's so much great information out there. Like Ro was saying, you can use eBay and thrift books, and there's so many different websites that offer, even Facebook Marketplace, when people are selling their used curriculum. I have found, come to your local convention, let's go CHAP, because we do a used curriculum sale, so you can sell your books that you're not using and then also look through what other people have to sell. And those are the great ways we can encourage each other. Ask your friends, did you get this full set of curriculum? And my kid's one stage behind your kid. Community is everything. You can definitely do this together and work together in sharing curriculum. And I love what you said about if it's not working, don't be a slave to it. Even if you got a great deal. I know this talk is supposed to be about doing it cheaply, but we're also, the higher goal is to teach our kids in the best way that they're going to learn. So be careful of that. But also ask your relatives who want to give you gifts, give your children gifts, and you don't need any more stuff laying around the house, but a membership to a local museum or like an amazing experience. Ask for those kind of gifts, and those are ways that the family and community around you can help support your homeschooling too.
Yeah, so we have a how to choose curriculum link on homeschoolpennsylvania.org, and on that link there's a lot of free long time homeschool resources. So that's a great place to look, and it doesn't mean that you have to use those curriculum resources for your entire program, but if you're looking for, you know, something specific, or you have a kiddo that maybe you bought a really expensive curriculum for and now it's not working, you just want to try something else, or they're just bored of something that you're doing, it's a great way to kind of pick and choose and try something different before you make another big purchase. It's also good too if you're looking for a filler subject that maybe you don't want to invest a lot in, but you feel like you need to check a box, and you want something done. It's a great tool to use for that as well. My other tip is you don't have to buy everything all at once. Sometimes you feel pressure that it's the beginning of the school year and you have to make this huge purchase. There's definitely been times where there's things that I know we're going to do for the year, but we're not going to get to it until the second semester. So I often do an order in the summertime to get us started, and then I'll do a second order in the new year to kind of finish us out. Or if we're doing read out louds that I know I can't get at the library because sometimes they're not all available, I'll hold off on buying them, and then I just need to make that $10 purchase at some point for this one read out loud that we're going to do in May. I don't have to buy that in July or August when I'm getting ready. So just kind of spreading that stuff out I think sometimes helps versus oh, here's this huge bill to get us started for the year. And then we too have been blessed by people letting us borrow things, us letting other people borrow things, especially if it's a textbook style. And then too, I always look at the workbooks and really assess, is this something we're truly going to use? And I talked to my friends, did you actually use the workbook? Because, I mean, if you're going to use it, oftentimes, like Ro was saying, it's worth it to pay the $10 versus trying to print it and copy it and have stuff flying all over the place. But, you know, is it just busy work? Because sometimes these curriculum companies also are used in school settings, or they're trying to comply with different laws in different states and everything like that. So just because the curriculum company has all of that at their disposal does not mean you have to use every single piece of that. But then sometimes there are kids that are just workbook kids and they love doing that stuff, and it's, if you need that to throw at them while you're working with somebody else, it's worth your $10. So just kind of looking at all of those pieces to see, what do you really need, what are you really going to use, and what's just going to take up space that you're going to be kicking around anyway.
When I got started, of course, I was terrified, so I needed the box. And the box new was cha-ching, so I got on eBay and I bought those things for half the price at the most. So thrift books, there's lots of discount, online discount book sellers now. Mom's Table at Co-op, we have a free table at Co-op, from clothing to books to I don't even know what. We bring on all kinds of stuff. I'm not going to use this gluten-free flour here, right? So you can get like I said, clothing, food, books, whatever. And if you're in a co-op or a group that doesn't have a free table, suggest having a free table, because then my relatives start giving, hey, how about you can give this to your co-op friends, right? So I'm like a drop-off place for stuff I don't want anymore, and whatever, but that's a whole nother thing. But and with the workbooks too, I actually did one, we had a math curriculum that we use, and then, I do like 3 of the pages and the test or whatever for the kid, and then I kept it, but then the next kid used the other ones. So more than one kid could use a workbook. Or I actually got super stingy, and then for the upper level ones, like the elementary ones with all the pictures and stuff, I let the kids have their own notebook. But then when they got to like 6th grade, it was like, guess what? You need to start learning how to use notebook paper and 3-ring binders. So here's the student book, but you're doing all the work on this notebook paper. And that's a whole nother lesson on neatness and numbering your problems.
Yes.
And all that
Good
stuff.
things to
Which
learn.
Very good things to learn. So, and those are ways, that saved us. I have 6 kids. That saved me a lot of money over the years.
Yeah.
So I think spreading out, like you said, is if you don't need it now, don't get
Okay.
it now.
It's okay.
And stuff might change. Till you get to when you thought you were going to do it. That's happened to me. I bought stuff and I'm like, nah, I bought ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just going to get this now and then it'll be done. I don't need to buy this ever again. And then we get to the point with that kid and I'm like, well, I really don't think I want to do this anymore.
Or you forget that you bought it.
Yes.
I
Yes.
may
But then
have
there's.
duplicates.
Yes. Yes.
But with waiting, you're giving yourself a chance to see if it goes on
Figure it
sale,
out.
or if you can find it on eBay because the mom who bought it didn't like it, so she's trying to sell it.
Yeah.
And then you're blessing that mom
That's a good
too,
point.
Yeah.
instead of Amazon.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
true. And then there's the used curriculum sale
Yeah.
at the convention. You bring it in.
Yes.
Sometimes if you have a set and it's a brand new book you've never even used before, it doesn't have any pencil marks in it, whatever, you can sell it for not quite as much as what you would have bought it for, but
Still redeem something.
more than
For sure.
$2, right?
Yeah.
Because it's brand new. So there's lots of different ways to save.
Something else in our area that we're really fortunate, we actually have a church that supports homeschool families and houses a homeschool library. That
wow.
you can
That's
check items out, and unlike your normal library where you have like a specific due date, you can keep it for as long as you need it for the whole year, and utilize that, and then return it back. It's just on the honor system. So I think that's a great way for churches to support families.
Yeah.
That if you have a little nook, that you could be, storing a few math curriculums and a few reading curriculums, just even some basic stuff to help families and support them, especially when families are just getting started and they're so overwhelmed and they don't know what is going to work for their kid, what is their style, what is, what does the school look like for them. It's so nice for them to kind of be able to have that hands-on flip through stuff and look.
And if you start one of those at the church, you can have some CHAP pamphlets piled up there at the front so you can hand them to people so they would know.
No, that's good. You two mentioned something that made me think of something. The person who's just starting out, they may not have the confidence to be eclectic and to pull things together, right? So the big boxes definitely work, and like you said, you can do the
That's
used
where I
one.
started, yep.
But I just want to say something. There's some things that don't change, like math. Regardless of what curriculum you use, it's 1 + 1. Right, so there's some things that what I would suggest is get a scope and sequence. If you look at a few different curriculum, you're like, I really like this one. Get a scope and sequence of that saying, in grade 1 I'm learning this, in grade 2 the kid approaches this, in grade 3 they do this, and you can literally make up your own problems. You can just get a book from the dollar store, you can get a book from the library, but instead of having to buy a new book every year because the child hopefully is progressing, you can just pull things together. There, like you said, there's so many things online. You can say, give me 10 work problems on 2-digit multiplication.
Yes.
And history.
I could use AI, right?
You can use
AI to make
right?
math problems. There we
The
go.
new thing.
The reason it's called history is because it's history, so it doesn't change.
Yes,
So
yes, hopefully.
right?
Yeah.
You don't have to keep buying the newest version of history. Now, if you want to shift and say, okay, I want to do this from a biblical worldview or something like that, then maybe the older text may not offer you that. But if you just grab a book again from the library that has history, you can then weave in how you want to teach that. So you don't have to go for the new thing on the market or the new book. The history is the history. So get a list of things you want to cover.
Yeah.
And then you can do that
And
really cheaply.
Yeah, check out your favorite curriculum companies because a lot of times they will do samples online for free download.
Yes.
And that is a great way to try it out before you commit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we have a lot of friends that don't use formal curriculum at all,
Yeah.
right? Like they're doing math, they're doing it on a whiteboard, they're doing it with chalk on the driveway, and that gets a little bit more complicated when you get into calculus, right? But you can, there's still so much out there now that you can do for very low cost. And then even as the kids get older, like they're utilizing these dual enrollment classes that they're not paying that much money for. I think that's one of those things people think that like, oh, you're paying, thousands of dollars in tuition. It's like, no, when you're dual enrolling, the cost is really affordable. So there's just so much out there. I know when our kids were younger, and even now that they're, my oldest is in junior high now, a lot of the community parks, the are doing tons of great
Yes.
programs
Yeah.
that are super low
Maple
cost
sugar
or cheap.
one that you go to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like there's
Mhm.
field trips can definitely add up if you're doing a lot of scheduled classes.
Right.
But if you're looking for those free resources, they are abundant. And to me, it's helped us choose what programs we actually do want to pay for because we've already interacted with staff at free events.
Yes.
We like the quality of programming, so we feel confident that, oh, if we're going to invest, you know, $150 or something into a week-long camp, it's going to be worth it. We're going to get it out there versus just, you know, randomly choosing something because somebody told us, oh, well, they have a homeschool program and it's, you know, buku bucks. And then you look at what they're doing and it's like, well, they just played outside for an hour. I can do that. I can do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And partnering with other moms that have really good skill sets. Like we've been really lucky with, I had a mom friend that was super talented in art and did some art projects with kids, or I had a mom that was super knowledgeable on some of the nature stuff and was super happy to share her knowledge with us. And I do have some skills that I can share. So, you know, just trading off with moms of things
You
that they
organize
can
it
do.
all right. Okay, you're this week.
I can put a Google Calendar together. So we need all kinds of people.
One of the things to not forget about is the free passes to museums you can get at the library. Did you know this? Like your local library has passes to get into pretty much local, maybe in your county, I don't know, museums. So you can just reserve it and then take it, and then you get in for free. This year, my daughter wanted to do more field trips. We bought the Pennsylvania Heritage family pass for like $70 some. And we can go to any number of, if you want to travel, stuff all over the place. We can come visit you in Pittsburgh and visit some things out there.
It's so much fun.
So lots of options like that where you don't, I mean, you go to 2 museums and you've made it, especially with a large family.
Yes.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. Some museums have reciprocity, so buy the cheapest one.
Yes.
You can go to other
Well,
ones.
all the different programs are connected now too.
Yes.
Like that one in particular is connected with another one, so then we can go to the Hershey story and all that kind of stuff that wasn't originally on this pass. So look into that stuff.
Yeah.
There's coupons everywhere for everything.
Yeah, and then my other favorite tip is unit studies.
Absolutely.
You know, if you have a kiddo that is just in a little bit of a funk, if you're in a little bit of a funk, if you're just getting started and you're so overwhelmed you cannot pick something, pick one topic to study and go to the library. Find a movie.
Order the books if they're not in that library.
Yeah.
They will send them to you.
Yeah. Look for a field trip. So families that are like, we just don't know where to start, I suggest ice cream or pizza is a great place to start. Do a unit study on ice cream or pizza. There is so much information you can learn. You know, what is the history of
Do you know
the house?
I love both of those things.
Yes,
Like the
and
how
field
to,
trips.
is it a website or the YouTube channels? Like how this was made.
Yep, how this
How
is
this,
made.
oh, my husband
What's-
watches those with the kids. How gum was made. Ew, you'll
Yeah.
never want to chew gum.
I know.
Ever.
My
So
kids
gross.
want some and they're like, I
Maybe we won't eat that anymore.
But you can work math into that.
Absolutely.
Set up a budget. What is this going to cost if we do a field trip? How much do you have to spend on this ice cream cone? What are the different price factors of the ice cream in the grocery store? What are the ingredients? You can tie in all those subjects to all those things, and you can have a fun field trip at the end.
And then you need lots of field trips so you can try all the different ice cream.
But that investment.
Oh wait, that's not good for your budget. Sorry.
Samples.
That investment is so worth it, and you can spend time together as a family, which is what homeschooling really is. You really can enjoy, and you can learn together, and you can enjoy learning. And again, if you have a kid that you're pulling out of public school that just is really not wanting to do any of that, it's a great way to spark that love of learning again, and that there's a lot of ways to do this. So many options out there for families.
So you can do it, and you can do it cheaply.
Yes, you can.
So ask a friend, write into us, ask questions, look around, use Google, use AI, ask the questions.
Check out homeschoolpennsylvania.org.
And we're always looking for more ideas, so you share your ideas with us as well. On the comments, if there's some amazing deal that you found, put it down there so that you can bless other families who are reading it.
Absolutely. All right, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Bye.